Okay. Good morning. Well, morning here. It's a little before 8 o'clock in Youngstown, Ohio. Well, Poland, Ohio. I'm at the shop at work, and these are one of the cars I have been commissioned to customize. Ignore my dirty hands. I've been working on this truck over here that has fresh oil undercoating. You know, that stuff made from kerosene and used motor oil or whatever the hell it's made out of. It's nasty dirty. I worked on it yesterday, and my hands were black as coal from working on it. And I still got to work on it today underneath there, run some wires, and you can't even like touch something like this. Just getting filthy. Every time you run a wire up and over something, this powdery stuff just rains down. Ugh. Almost done on it. But anyhow, I took apart the sedan at home. So let's see how this one comes apart. Oh, the axles are separate on this one. I can see that. And let's see how this comes out. And I want to break it. Oh, the interior is separate. The interior on the other one is attached to the chassis. Up. Rear wheels also popped off, and so did this. Now looking at this little plastic spoiler and exhaust are basically a combination of a glue and a weld. What they do is they melt these little pegs. They stick them through there and basically put something hot on them and melt them. Make a mushroom head to stick them on. The chassis I'm probably not going to do anything with, but everything else, yes. So, these things, you just normally have to cut the little tabs. Just get the mushroom head off there. Now that still doesn't mean it's going to come off easily, because it might also be, this is kind of tricky to do through a camera. So every now and then I may go off camera for a little bit here. Yeah, they also glued this on, because they're not coming off easily. So I'm going to have to gently pry on it and hope I don't break the pegs. The sedan came apart rather easily. There was a couple points the glue was tight. Yep, this is glued and welded on. And to do this without slipping and slitting my finger is always fun. So I'll just take the knife point and dig into this a little bit. I'm doing this, some of this looking through the camera and some of it not. I mean, granted, I could probably brush paint this part if it's any more stubborn than what it's being, but I like to take it off. Now, being it's plastic, I'm not going to be able to strip it the same way I stripped the metal part of the body. Because if you use the same stripper that you use on metal and plastic, you're going to melt it. So I got to make sure that this, I might just scuff it and paint over it rather than strip this part. This little underside spoiler. The sedan did not have this. The sedan was a little less complicated. As you can see there, see, that was coming out of the hole. This one is not as easily. So I'm going to dig it out a little bit further. I should have brought my little pin vise and drill press, or bits, whatever you want to call them. And it's a little exhaust tip too. I mean, actually the exhaust tip could probably stay on the chassis. I'll have to ask and see if he wants the chassis, Mr. Nas, weathered up too, because he's Mini GT Kato house. These chassis are like anodized, all pretty purple and pinkish magenta color here. So I'll have to ask if he wants them to remain that way. Wow. This is really on here. Aha. I'm trying not to destroy the pegs because I want it to go back on. It's really easy to break these little pegs. Come on, pegs. Ah! It either broke off. Yep, it broke. But it can be glued back on. It's not the end of the world. Yeah. It just has to be glued back on. And I got a little baggie here for all the parts. I don't have any stripper here at work, so once this is devoid of all its parts. Yeah, see this one, the chassis is separate from the interior. I took the sedan apart and it all came apart. Now, as you can see, the windows are riveted in, which means I gotta carefully drill these rivets. The Wagon has 4 and 2 here, so 6 total. Whereas the sedan only had 4. The sedan, the windshield was its own, just like this. So if you look here, there's a line. The windshield was separate. And then all the side and back windows were one. But before we get to that, we got to take apart everything else. Now the dashboard is not just the dashboard. It also is a retainer for the hood hinge. You can see the hood goes under here and it's held in place by that. But you can't get the hood off totally. Get that in the baggie too until you get the engine out. The engine is also melted in. I believe it's called swaged or swaged. Not sure. But like I said, basically they just melt these little tips down. Oh, well, that one moved easily. Okay, there's the engine. Engine's out. Put that in the baggie. Now these mirrors don't appear to come all the way through. So they're probably just glued on. I'm hoping I can get those off there successfully. Okay, come on, hood. The hood on the sedan, literally, there it is. It has to sort of go up and over that hump. Hood's off. Okay, now the grill. Same thing. These little points here. Yeah, these cars, the premium type cars like green lights, M2s, these apparently mini GTs, all use the same basic assembly technique. Hot Wheels, yes, you have to drill them out, but once they're drilled out, everything else just comes out. It's all held in together. Whereas these cars, as nice as they are, everything is glued, melted, and or riveted in. I once did a green light custom, and even the vent windows, it was like a 55 Chevy that were here, they were riveted on here, and then the side windows here. Oh my God, it took forever to disassemble it. And you got to be so careful not to shatter the window, you know, break it when you're trying to take it out of there. But yeah, anyhow, same thing as this back bumper. I find they're using a combination of melting them in and gluing them in. Because even once I get those rivets out of there, as you'll see, the bumper doesn't just come right off. Oh, hey, this one might. Let me see if I can get it under there without breaking it. That's the tricky part. Aha, bumper off. Ta-da! So you can't beat that. Okay, now these mirror, oh, front bumper, which its rivets, okay, its rivets they're really small here. Again, I'm doing this through a camera. I'm looking at, yeah, right here. I can probably just push it out. Oh yeah, it's glued in too. These are a challenge. Not too worried about the paint because I'm going to strip it anyhow. But I got to get carefully up on here. And since I may be doing weathered finishes on these, a little bit of damage won't hurt. But I'm trying not to at least break them. Oh yeah, they got it glued. Dirty bastards. Oh, that bumper is in there. It is glued and heat swaged, whatever, in there. The driver's side seems to be more cooperative. Let's see if I can push a little harder on there. There we go. It's probably going in and out of focus 100 times here. But anyhow, yep. Now the driver's side's cooperating. Let's see if we can get the passenger side to cooperate. Come on. Ooh, it's just being a pain. Trying to work the blade across here without breaking the bumper. Do not break the bumper. Okay, a little more pushing on this pin. Just trying to ream it out and break down some of the glue because they melted it and glued it in. Dirty pain in the butt. Why they do this? I guess they don't intend on anybody to customize their work. Maybe that's why. Oh, it just does not want to cooperate. I'm trying to break the bead of glue that's under there without breaking the bumper. It's loose. I mean, you can see there. See, that peg is showing. That one is not yet. It's still in there. So that means they have a hell of a lot of focus, a hell of a lot of glue on that side. Okay, that's moving. Wow. Let me push that side back in and see if we can get this side out. Come on. Come on. The sedan didn't give me this much of a fight. But yeah, this is the part of the fun of customizing the higher end cars. Oh, I do not want to break that bumper. Come on. I don't even want to think about getting these mirrors out of here. Oh, hey, that mirror came right out. And yeah, that one kind of broke, but not all the way. It's still going to be doable. Yeah, it'll still be good. It has enough of a peg left to. Okay, well, look at that. I got the mirrors, one bumper, the spoiler. Just gotta get this last bumper out, and then the windows. Oh, taillight lens has got to come out too. Now, those are glued and welded in too. Trying to get, I'm breaking my blade here. Jeez, what do they have this bumper in here with? Just trying to work it out. Come on. Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. I think the bumper is out. Now what I'll do, besides, I'm going to ream these holes out a little bit. Because even though I'm going to strip paint and make them looser, I'm going to add paint and make them tighter. So I'm going to make them bigger, so when I go to put this stuff back on, it has a little more room to go when I could just, use a little dab of crazy glue. Okay, let's grab these taillight lenses. Oh, the taillight lenses don't have the sedan's taillights, go across this way. And there were little pegs to push on them. The taillights do not. That means these taillights are glued in. Which means getting them out of here without breaking them is going to be pert near impossible. Yep, there's no pegs. So that means they're totally glued in. And depending on what kind of glue they use, these may not come out of here easily. If at all. Ugh. Yep. Yeah, they're going to come out in pieces. So that poses a problem. I mean, I can leave them in there, but when I strip this paint, it's going to melt those. Unless I use a plastic safe stripper, which I may have to use. And, yep, go with that. I'm going to have to strip them with something plastic safe and leave them in there and then just, repaint them. And I've already chipped that one. So, okay, windows. Let's get the windows out of here. I brought along a drill bit for that. Yep, unfortunately, this is not going to go the way I want. Be right back. Okay, now to get these out of here, you simply drill the head of the rivet out without slipping off and breaking the glass. There. That's already loose. I can hear it rattling around. Okay. I apologize for the camera work. Like I said, I'm doing this around and over a phone. But Nas requested that I show how some of this is done. Now, these windows, they're not just riveted in. When they go in on these vehicles, on these Nissans, Datsuns, they pop out this way. So the bottom edge of the glass is sitting on the sill. So they have to be pushed in a little bit without breaking them. I then push down. All the way around. Nope, almost lost the camera there. Yeah, they're a little bit of trick. I mean, gotta be done carefully. I don't want to break them. Even though we're going for a weathered look, I really don't want them broken. Oh, wait a minute. They got this even different than the sedan. They got the mid windows. Then they have the back windows separate. Wow. Oh, then you got your windshield. Again, these have to be taken out in a certain order. There we go. Ta-da. And there's those. Put the windows in there. Now the windshield. Windshield on the sedan actually came out through the front once the rivets were drilled. Now when these go back in, I'll use some of that gold crazy glue. I'll show you the bottle when I'm home, because it's not supposed to fog, or I'll use some clear 5-minute epoxy. But unfortunately, like I said, these taillights aren't going to come out of here. The only thing I could try doing is heating it up with a heat gun and see if maybe they'll pop out of there. But right now, to keep the taillights, I think I'm going to have to use a plastic safe stripper. Normally on this, I would use automotive stripper to strip die cast. But being the taillights are stuck, if I use automotive stripper on plastic lenses, it's going to turn in the goop. So if I use plastic safe, I could strip it, leave them in there. They may discolor a little bit, but I could put some clear red paint right back over them, and you'll hardly notice. And since I'm probably going to do the weathered thing on this, that little bit of chip in the taillight lens shouldn't hurt nothing. Okay, well, it's been 20-some minutes, and I really should be clocking in and going to work. But I just wanted to show you the general disassembly process on those. The Wagon was a little more involved than the sedan. So, oh well, live and learn on those. But yeah, I'll get that stripped out, and I'll show you some process on that. Of course, I don't want to show too much process when I get into it, because I want the final result to be kind of a surprise for Mr. Nas. So, but there it is. When I get home, I'll pick up some stripper or something for that. It can't go on the same stripper I'm using for the rest of it, unfortunately. If those taillights come out, I'm going to try heat gunning those out later. If they come out with a heat gun, then I can use automotive stripper. Yay! If not, then I can't. So, all right, well, I better get to work. Now it's 23 minutes. And actually, I've been kind of on the clock for 15, so I should get to work here. So talk to you later, and bye-bye.